The year was 1994. I was 20 years old, and I went outside on my lunch break over the summer to just kind of enjoy some sunshine and have a little lunch with Jesus. It was during one of those lunches in the park where the Holy Spirit asked me, Des, are you willing to follow me, to do whatever it takes, even if it takes you outside of what you had always planned for your life? I remember thinking back to the disciples and how Jesus had called them, even remembering the words to the song by Stephen Curtis Chapman, "Will you abandon it all for the sake of the call?" And as I took the time and really said, am I willing to do this? I made the decision. Yes, I would do whatever it takes to follow Jesus. Hey everybody, my name is Adessa Holden, and what you just watched is a story of my testimony, one of the days that God called me into ministry and really asked me the question, will you follow me? It's the day I answered yes back, and it's just a huge memorial stone in my life. It's a big day, something I will never forget. I'm sure many of you have experienced something like this in your own life. You've gone to an altar, or you've been at a conference. Maybe you were in your own time of prayer and God spoke something into your heart and you knew in that moment clearly that it was Him, and you answered like the disciples years ago answered, yes, I will follow you whatever it takes. It was your big moment, your memorial stone. I like to compare it to the day that a man and a woman get engaged. After, months or weeks of planning, the guy gets up his courage, he saves up the ring, he plans a special time, and then he goes to the woman and he says, with all the courage that he has inside of him, will you marry me? And of course she says yes, and it's a big celebration. It's the beginning of their lives together, their memorial stone. And in the years that come, they'll look back on this day during the hard times and they'll remember it as a special event, and it will help them through those days. And years later, when they're older, they'll tell their grandkids and their great-grandkids the story of how Grandpa asked Grandma to get married, and it'll be a big family story. It's a special day for them, a memorial stone, and a day that they will never forget. And yet, as anyone who is married will tell you, that just because you have a fantastic engagement and a big story to go with it, doesn't necessarily ensure that you're going to live happily ever after. Instead, the actual marriage, the actual living together and having a healthy, loving relationship that lasts through the test of time, that takes work and that takes commitment. That takes two people making the decision on a daily basis that whatever it takes, they are going to stay together, they're going to work through things, and they are going to make this marriage happen. And I've learned that the same thing is true in our spiritual lives. It's so easy to get caught up in the moment and the emotionalism of that moment where we hear God's call, where He says to us, follow me, and we say, yes, more than anything, I want to do this. But that is just the beginning of the story of walking and living a life worthy of our calling. The really actually living a life worthy of our calling comes every day as we make the determination that defeat is not going to be an option, but instead that we are going to do whatever it takes to walk in that calling, that we're going to follow God's principles, that we're going to do things His way, and that even when times get hard or we have to make an investment or there's an obstacle in our path, that's when we're still going to do whatever it takes. It's not such a big, exciting moment, but it's an everyday, quiet resolve that says, today, Lord, I am going to follow you because I want to live a life worthy of my calling, whatever it takes.